Hello YouTube, I'm back. Yeah, having said that there wouldn't be months between videos, there seems to have been. And I can only put that down to the fact that I didn't really have anything to make a video about. So rather than just keep pushing crap out there on the internet, I thought I'd wait till I got something genuinely interesting to record. So anyway, I have, and here it is. Oh yes, now that is a Calibre boss nut. Now actually it's not a boss nut, this is the Triple B, so this is the latest version of the boss nut. I think boss nut stands for something like boss nut's big brother. So basically it's like a Calibre boss nut, full suspension mountain bike on steroids. It's got better forks, better suspension, bolt through rear end, a lot of goodies on this bike, and it gets rave reviews. And I've been hankering after a full suspension mountain bike for some time because I'm really getting into my mountain biking. I'm terrible at it. I would probably spend more time carrying the bike than I do riding the bike, but I just really like it. And somehow in my tiny mind, a full suspension mountain bike is going to turn me into a mountain biking god. So anyway, yes, I've invested in this. Now when I say invested, I think this was a bit of a steal. Okay, so if you look at, I'm a bit of a Trek fanboy, so I looked at Trek full suspension. Whoa, lots of money. Yeah, okay, good brand, lifetime warranty on the frame and all that good stuff. Really good local Trek dealer, get great support from him, but hey, lot of money, especially for somebody with my lack of ability. And it's the same with all the other mainstream brands. You know, to get on the full suspension ladder, you are talking a couple of grand plus at least, I guess. Whereas this thing retails, and this is retails, at £13.99, 1,399 quid. So I think that's a bit of a steal. And then I got an even better bargain because they were doing a 15% offer. So I got 15% off of that. So I got this thing for a couple of quid under £1,200. Now that to me is a proper steal because you're talking hardtail money there, you know, you're talking decent hardtail money there, or even maybe entry level on some hardtails, I guess. But so yes, I bought this thing. So what am I going to do? Well, I thought I'd do an unboxing video, and yes, I know when I did the 360 camera thing I said I don't do unboxing videos, and I don't do unboxing videos, but I'm going to make this one a little bit different because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video about what you do when you get your mail order bike. Sorry. So what you do when you get your mail order bike, you know, what sort of state's it going to be when you take it out of the box? What do you need to do to it? Because generally if you go along to a shop, they've had somebody do this stuff for you, so you just go along and they'll do a bit of a pre-delivery inspection on it, make sure the gears are still shifting and the wheels aren't going to fall off, and the brake calipers are actually attached and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be a video on what you do when you get your brand new Calibre BBB. I suppose this applies to any other sort of mail order bike. So what you do when you get your Calibre BBB and get it out the box, and what you need to do to it before you can ride it. Now, you got to bear in mind that YouTube is full of people like me who put these so-called instructional videos out there, having never done the job themselves before. And that's the case here. No, I tell a lie, because I built my time trial bike. That came in a box from Planet X. But that's different, to be honest with you, because kind of all Planet X had done with that was swing the handlebars around. All you had to do was put the handlebars straight, you know, and you could ride the thing. But it is a little bit more involved with something like a mountain bike. They're a little bit more complex. So I thought I'd take you through the procedure and come along with me and see how we get on. So without further ado, let's dig into this lovely big cardboard box and see what's inside. And it better be a Calibre Triple B in XL. Go outdoors. Okay, so it's a simple enough job, so consequently you only need simple enough tools. So obviously you're going to need a set of Allen wrenches at some point, grease for your seat post, a pair of cable cutters or side cutters to actually unpackage the bike, possibly a pedal spanner, although your pedals might well go on with Allen keys. I don't know why, but I always like the security of having a hammer with every job that I do. And then at the other end of the scale from the hammer, torque wrenches, because it will be my practice to go around the bike and make sure that all the bolts are torqued properly. And then when you're all up and running, you'll need a shock pump to set your suspension. So those are all simple enough tools. The only other thing that I'd add is possibly a can of Kronenbourg 1664. Or if you're in the States, possibly an IPA. But I think that this should go nicely with the build. So let's go and get that box open. Right, the moment of truth. There are some feck off big staples in the box, top of these boxes. So probably just being worth being careful with those. But I've had this 3 days now and not opened it. So forgive me if there's some excitement. You bastard, come on. Glue and staples. Oh yeah, come on. Right, there we go. One side. Right. Okay. Oh, look at that. Right. What have we here? Okay, seat post. So that's going to have to go in separately. Put that there for the time being. We have rear wheel already installed. A box of goodies. Have a look at that in a minute. And yep, let's just lift it out. There you go. Oh yeah. Right, just going to get rid of the box. Make sure I haven't left anything of consequence inside, which I haven't. Right, so there it is. Looks like a Brompton, doesn't it, like that? Okay, let's start unpackaging this stuff. As you can see, the back wheel's already in. I think what I'm going to do is just unpackage that front wheel so that we've got just the frame and rear wheel. I'll put my bike stand up and I think I will build it in the bike stand. So okay, where else are you attached? Oh, how on earth have they done that? Well, that's great. Right, there you go. Loads of fucking cardboard. Right. Let's put this here. Okay, let's get the rest of this packaging off. Sweet. Look at this. Put that down. Ta-da! What do we got here? Huh? Snip, snip. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, black stanchions. Oh. Nice. Just going to leave that brake caliper wrapped for the time being. And you've got your through axle there. So that is all good. Turn the forks the right way round. Yeah, that's all good. Right, okay. Should be a pair of handlebars here somewhere. Just take those off last. What is it I said about YouTube being awash with people who claim to know what they're doing? Oh, look at this. Straight in the bin. Oh, what have we got here? What have we here? Oh, superb. Keep those. Just shows you there's things wrapped up all over this bike which you will need. So the back wheel's already fitted, but had it not been, it would have needed one of those little guys in the brakes. And what they do, you just wedge them in and they stop the pistons popping out. So yeah, don't lose those. Obviously don't need one at the back, so because the back wheel's in, so those calipers won't pop out, and there's one already fitted at the front here I can see. So oh, good view on my back there. Another view on my back. Thank you. Right. Ta-da. Scissors. Take that off there. What have we here? Anything in there? No. Barcode for something. Right. Before I cut the handlebars out of the packaging, I'm just going to loosen the handlebar clamp so that I'm ready to put that bar straight in there and I don't have to leave it hanging or anything like that. So let's grab an Allen key. He says, let's grab his glasses first. That's a good idea. What are we saying? 4? Oh, too big. Oh no. It is a 4. I just picked up the wrong size wrench. Dickhead. Right. Let's. What I'm going to do is I just want to put these bolts somewhere safe, and I don't want to put them on my shitty workbench. I'll put them on top of the torque wrench there. Oh, this is such a sweet looking bike, really. And don't get me wrong, I am a bit of a die-hard roadie, but I just love mountain bikes. And I'd say if you're a roadie, and now that we are in the depths of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, I think you're missing a trick if you don't ride mountain bikes through the winter, because generally you're on trails that aren't full of cars, which has got to be a bonus. But furthermore than that, I think it really, well, it definitely improves your fitness and really, really improves your skills. So, right, okay. And sorry I can't get you a wider angle. Let's see if we can pan you down a little bit. There you go. And focus you there. A bit better. Cool. Okay. Right. Let's cut these handlebars off. What I want to do is get all the packaging off of these. So, it's very well packaged. Annoyingly so. Right. Okay. Oh no. Set of handlebars. Nice. Right, now, obviously, when you put your bars on, you want to make sure that your cables are routed correctly, which they are. And, I don't know if you can see it, but you want to make sure that you get them centered nicely. So they look okay to me. I'm just going to put the clamp in just to get them held, and then we'll center them up. Yeah, and I know anyone out there with a bit of OCD is probably looking at that going, they're not centered! No, they're not. I'm just getting them located. Then we will center. Now, this is worth noting. When you look at the spec for this bike, and I've seen this pointed out in another review, that the spec for the bike says that they come with the guide brakes, but these are coming with guide RE brakes, and they are the absolute nuts. If my understanding is correct, and there's going to be somebody that knows the answer to this who can correct me in the comments below, but I think guide RE is kind of for like e-bikes and stuff like that, so it's got a hell of a lot of stopping power, and these look the nuts. I mean, seriously, I'm blown away with the spec on this bike. Anyway, on a side, let's get these bars centered. Now, for anyone in YouTube land with OCD tendencies, hopefully this will make you happy. Centered. Right, okie dokie, what's the torque spec on these bolts? Doesn't say, it's normally stamped on them. Well, the stem bolts are 9 to 10 Newton meters, so I'm going to follow that for these. Formula. That is a Nat's cock under 10. Actually, let's just run them down a little bit more before we start talking. And as you can see, I'm sorry about this. My workspace isn't enormous, so apologies for the cramped conditions here. And I always like to run these down evenly, so don't whack them, don't take one of them and whack it straight up to full torque. Snug them down so that you're spreading the love around the fitting. Try not to round out any of the bolts in the process like I'm doing there. Okay, now here's the thing. This is a Lifeline torque wrench that I'm using there. Let's just see if we can focus on that for you. And it's a nice little piece of kit. Who is it? Lifeline? Is it Wiggle own brand or something like that? Or could be Wiggle own brand or something like that. It's one of the big firm's own brands. And it's a really nice little torque wrench. Comes with all the bits and stuff, which I really like. But really annoying feature, right? Okay, you set the torque using that big knob there, and naturally as you turn the wrench there's a tendency to turn that, so it would just be nice if you could lock that torque off. Anyway, enough talk of talk, let's talk. Talked. Now I know that there is a tendency, or it's almost a compulsion, that when you get that click you go for another one to be sure. Personally, I never do that because that click means it's torqued, and in my head if you do another one then surely you're over torquing that bolt. Again, feel free to comment, I'm probably wrong, but that's the way I see it. Right, bars are in. They're all torqued. Lovely. Okay. Top tool time tip. Just focus on that. You probably know this. I'm probably teaching you to suck eggs. But when you've finished with your torque wrench, always zero it. Never leave it stored with the last torque you were using, because that will screw it up. Okay, so back to the bike. So had this come from an eBay seller, I think the description I would be using is well packaged and as described. So what are we going to do now? Next big thing, seat post. Actually, before we do that, let's have a look at what we've got in this box. I bet this is pedals, which I won't need because I'm going for a set of my preferred pedal, DMR V12. Not too expensive, quite grippy, quite good looking, like me. See, this is why I don't do unboxing videos. Oh, look. Loads of things in here. What we got? There we go. Bicycle owner's manual. That's probably build instructions in there. Probably is as well. What we got? What we got? What we got? Oh, we got stickers. Yeah, Rocks Shocks stickers. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, not too bad, I suppose. I won't bin those. They might come in handy for something. Oh. Now, as sad as it seems, I'm probably going to fit that because I find that they come in really handy when you're trying to make your way through the woods and there's a deaf person with a dog in front of you. So yes, I probably am going to fit the bill. Sorry if that offends you. We got, oh, frame protection, nice. SRAM leaflet. Cool, that's all that. Right, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Now, this, oh, look at that. Nice. Sweet, look at that. Now this is an externally routed dropper, which I think is a good idea actually. I've got an internally routed on my other bike, my Roscoe, and they can be a bit of a fiddle getting the cable in the bottom and stuff like that. This is a Transex, never heard of that brand, no doubt other people have. Like I say, the component spec on this is pretty good, so I can't imagine that it's absolute pudding. But anyway, this is going to go where the seat post goes. So let's get that wrapping off. Hopefully there's a little cap in here we just have to whip out. Nice. Right, okay, now this is good because, oh shit, don't want that down the trousers, the wife will go mad. This has already been greased, so yep, that shouldn't need too much, that shouldn't need any grease actually. So let's just whack that in. Let me go around the other side so you can see what I'm doing. I mean, come on, you can work it out, can't you? Where are we? Yeah, there you go. Right, let's waggle you in and clamp you with the saddle straight. Again, I apologise to all my OCD viewers. That's in, lovely. Right, now we've just got to route the cable. So top tip, if you're building one of these, you'll find that they've probably, when they fitted this, they've just fitted it in an entirely random location. So this being the lever for the dropper post. Equally, what I found was you've got this little outer metal sleeve which wasn't pushed fully into the lever, so it was taking up a load of slack that should have been in the cable. So once you address that issue, you then have sufficient cable to slip your little barrel into the lever itself and screw this adjuster into the frame. Again, I'll do the setup on this later. So right, seat post fitted. Okay, back to the scissors. Just some final pieces of packaging to remove at the back here. Free that back wheel, my beauty. More packaging. Obviously, before I pop that front wheel in, I'm just going to straighten the forks up because they have been twisted for transit. Don't need my glasses for that. Need them for practically everything else these days. That's sad, isn't it? Right, lovely. Same torque setting on those bolts as we applied to the handlebar clamp. We'll set them to 210. Okay. Before I do that, I'm just going to make sure that the bolts are loose. I'm just going to double check the top cap. That shouldn't need, no, that doesn't need any adjustment. Lovely. Where are we? Where have I put my tools? Okay, there we go. That's going to be, yeah, that's a 4, isn't it? Just run these in by hand. And then torque them. Good. Right. Okay. Before I put the front wheel in, I'm as mad as it sounds because it's already fitted. I'm going to whip this caliper off because, to my mind, that's not right. It's somehow this has got wrapped around the back of the fork. I think it was fitted like that by the looks of it. I would need to look at the owner's manual just to be sure, but I don't think that's alright. And again, this is kind of a generic Calibre owner's manual. Yeah, I think we need a picture of that, but well, I'd want to check the torque on those bolts in any case. So to my mind, that cable, that brake hose, should come down the front of the fork, through this here clamp, and then down, probably down the outside to that caliper. So let's whip that caliper off. I think they intended to do that because these bolts weren't even tightened. Yeah, that must just be part of the packaging. let's just get these loosened. And don't forget how your spacers are fitted. So when you take this off, you've got alloy big spacer, little washer, and then you've got kind of the opposite on the other side. So don't get those muddled up, because that could be quite an embarrassing mistake. I mean, especially if you did it on YouTube, for example, and were claiming to be some sort of expert. Oh yeah, you'd look at the kid then. Right, okay. Oops. Right, so there's the little wedge thing I was talking about earlier. So it just goes in between your pads, just to make sure that nothing untoward happens to them. Okay, take that off. Slip it over the cable, or the hose rather, in this case. This roughly located. Okay, that is roughly located. I'm new to the world of through axles. This is my first one, so it's going to be interesting. Okie dokie, let's fit this caliper back. Don't be tempted to run these in with the impact gun that you've got sitting handily on the bench there. As tempting as that is, and again, good, we are getting there. Seated. Nipped. Right, we got a torque spec on these? Nope, we have no torque spec on the fittings themselves, so let's see if we've got one elsewhere. No. How very interesting. If anybody knows the torque for these caliper bolts, I'd love to know it. But the bolt is thread locked, so I think for the time being I'm just going to do them up FT, fully tight. Should do. I will check the torque spec on those and put it into the description. Right, we are very nearly there. It's worth mentioning that for working on your mountain bike, for building your mountain bike, it's always good to have a decent work stand that allows you to support it in safety and work on it. Alternatively, you could buy a really shit one like I've got here. Anyway, onward. Let's put this front wheel in. Now, these come with, as you can see, quite a decent set of tyres on them. Notwithstanding that, I am going tubeless. So that will be the next pretend I know what I'm doing video coming along. So he's just pulling these plugs out the front wheel. There you go. Right, I am, and again, I know the armchair experts will correct me on this. I'm just going to put some grease, not too much, on this here through axle. Just so I don't transfer that to the brake rotor. Just wipe my hands on the packaging. Right, where's the bolt? Right, okay. And now this does have a torque setting on it, which is 9 to 13.5 Newton meters. We will go with 12. Whip your keeper out from the pads. God, these wheels are light. These are really light wheels. Sweet. Yes. You beauty. Right. Now that's quite a big one. I suspect I'm going to go 8 on this. Oh, far too big. Should have gone to Specsavers. There you go. Wasn't too far off, it's a 6. Okay. So he takes his 6, takes his torque wrench, and let's go, yeah, let's go 12. There you go. What I'm doing here is just pumping the brakes to get the pistons fully out and to get them settled and get the air out of the system. Lovely. Right. Let's tighten you up. You feel about right to me. Lovely. It's beginning to look a lot like a mountain bike. So those are torqued. I know I torqued those. Caliper bolts, I'll need to check the torque setting on those and torque those. So that just leaves us with pedals to fit. So as I mentioned at the beginning, these are my kind of go-to pedals for mountain bikes in any case. DMR V12. They've got a nice big platform on them. They've got these lovely rivety screw things that come through that seem to hold your feet nice and securely, and they look pretty good as well, and they don't cost the earth. I got these were Wiggle and these were 40 quid, so yeah, a decent pedal. So let's get these on. Now, depending on what pedal you use, oh yeah, stickers. Depending on what pedal you use, you might need a pedal spanner to fit them. So let's just run you in on this. So you can see we've got flats on that pedal that will take a pedal spanner, but my preference, so that you can get the torque right, would be that you've got an Allen fitting at the end there. So I would tend to use the Allen fitting. He says trying to zoom in on it and focus on it rather. Focus, there you go, focused. So yeah, I tend to put them in with an Allen. I'm going to put some grease around the threads. Again, that might be controversial, I don't know, but I always do it just to make sure that they come off easily enough when I need them. So let's do that now. And again, I'm not going to put a ton of grease around these, just a smear will do. The other thing to be really conscious of is if you've never done this before, each pedal, if you're fitting new pedals for the first time, and I'm not assuming that you are, but if you were fitting new pedals for the first time, I'm just going to zoom you in here and focus. Okay, they will be marked left and right. And make sure you get them in the right thread, because the first time I ever fitted a set of aftermarket pedals, I totally cocked that up and ended up costing myself a new crank arm. So yeah, just bear that in mind. And the torque spec for these, I would just set them FT, which means fully tight. When you're fitting them, always just start them by hand. Do that with any bolt really, because that way you'll soon find out if you're doing anything wrong. And again, golden rule with pedals, if you've never fitted new pedals before, they have differing threads on them, and to get them off you rotate towards the back of the bike. To fit them you rotate towards the front of the bike. So that's quite easy to remember, because all you've got to remember is back off. Okay, get it? So the back to get them off. Tight. Last thing I think will be just to check that the gears are indexed properly. Sorry, I got this stupid thing with this work stand, and what this does, it's a good idea, but it's for holding your handlebars straight whilst you work on the bike. So yeah, pain in the arse really. So let's just check that these are indexed. Can't see why they wouldn't be. So at this point I was going to be showing you me running through the gears and proving how well indexed they are, and talking about how much I love SRAM NX 1x11, it's all spot on. Goes without saying that the gears were absolutely perfect out the box, nothing wrong with them at all, lovely sweet shifting. The only reason you didn't get that video was because the camera battery ran out. What was it I was saying about YouTube being full of experts, me being one of them? Anyway, I think you've probably got enough there to be going on with, and the whole point of this video was really just to go through the major steps of what you do when you take the bike out of the box, what to expect when it comes out the box, and to give you a few little pointers that I learned along the way in putting mine together. So I hope this has been useful to you. If it has, please subscribe, and there's a little bell thing you can do for notifications, and keep an eye out for further videos coming, hopefully some of them including this bike. like, which you might actually see some of those on GMBN, because I'm absolutely convinced this is going to see me in a fail of the day one day. But anyway, have a good one, and thanks for watching.